Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fisher's Game Day. Here at the basketball court, we have got a fun one today. I'm Ethan Poto.
Sam Keithley.
Ethan Gardner.
Ryan Mitchell.
And today is the first game day for basketball. This is the first home game for Fishers as well. Kind of a rivalry here with playing the Noblesville Millers here on the home turf. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be fun. Fishers ranked number 1. First time in school history. Sam?
Yeah, they're number 1 because they got a victory over the reigning state champions, Ben Davis, who had a perfect season last year, 34-0. They were the preseason number 1, and the Tigers came in there with a 74-61 victory. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of up in the air. We didn't really know what the season was going to be. Jalen left. We're getting all these new freshmen in. We start the season on the road. What do? They go into Ben Davis, who hadn't lost in over a year, and they beat them by double digits. So just an impressive start.
Yeah, for sure. Keenan Gardner led the scoring with 21 points in this game. Right behind him, though, very impressive, freshman Jason Gardner Jr. with 13 points and 7 boards as well.
That's really impressive coming from a guard.
That's what I was going to say,
Being able to
especially
grab
for someone
7
that young with a team. I mean, it's a fairly experienced team. There's a couple young kids, but, I mean, overall, that's just really impressive to me.
A lot of maturity coming from a freshman.
For sure. Absolutely. Ted Metzger also adding 3 for 6 from 3 with 13 points. The kid can shoot it. He's going to Huntington for a reason.
And we just talked to Coach Weiniger a little bit. You guys will see that later, but he touched that he thinks that those are the 2 best freshmen in the conference. Which, I mean, for those to be on our team, that's huge. And as you can see already, just a huge step for Fishers.
I think he said in the state.
Yeah, I'd say hands down. They're 2 of the best kids in the state overall, let alone freshmen.
Yeah.
It's impressive to play as a freshman. You're on the number 1 team in the state, and you're playing as a freshman.
Yeah. Cooper Zachary being the other freshman going along, Jason Gardner Jr. They're just some, Coach said it, they're really mature guards. They can kind of do it all for you. So
very selfless. Yep.
Yeah. It's not crazy to say they're the 2 best in the state.
Wow.
Really.
No.
Wow. Fishers also added two other important wins there. LaPorte 72-31. Garner and Hall finished with 14 points each. Really impressive game from both of them. Also adding Arsenal Tech, they won 71-53. Garner had 22 and Zachary had 17. The offense has performed consistently in every game this year. They like to spread the ball. There's a lot of mouths to feed, but it makes it really difficult for a defense to stop 5 guys rather than having 1 guy you have to go to every single possession. The defense is going to see tougher teams as the season gets deeper and we enter conference play here, but it's really solid after 3 games overall. I mean, holding Ben Davis, a team that's a very high-powered, very high-scoring team, 61 points. I mean, 61's a lot, but I mean,
if you can score 74.
If you can score 74, it doesn't matter, exactly. Especially against Ben Davis, who has a great defense. But 32 points and 53 as well. Defense has proved themselves.
It really has, yeah. Looking around some games around the conference, over the past week, HSC, who's 1-1, lost to Brebeuf 66-42. The offense was really lacking in this game. There was 0 players in double figures.
Wow.
There's really just no go-to guy for HSC. They only had 6 total assists.
Yeah, I mean,
throughout the whole team.
We'll see as the season goes on, but there's not a lot of team chemistry there, seemingly, and I mean, you're not going to win games if you're not playing confident, playing together, and it's tough to do.
I think they graduated like 2 or 3 starters last year.
Yeah.
Even then, they had a pretty disappointing season last year. So.
Donovan Hamilton leads them this year. We saw him a lot during the football season. He's actually a star wide receiver.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a solid player, but
He's definitely better at football.
he's a good football player.
I mean, it's tough to score when you only really have like 1 dominant guy to go to every single possession.
Right.
The offense really relies on Donovan, and I mean, if you double team him, you don't really have somebody else to go to. Right. It's tough to score.
For sure.
And just touching on tonight's game kind of a little bit on Noblesville, they're 2-0 against the Franklin against Franklin Community, who beat Center Grove, and that game was 61-41. Miller's taking the W. And tonight we're going to see that team and see if they can kind of put up the same thing here. I'm excited to see Fishers against them, though.
I'm too. They've won 2 blowout wins.
Yeah.
So finally getting them some competition will be fun to see if they're actually legit. Like I said, coming off a sectional championship. So
I mean, every year Noblesville, always a hard-nosed defensive team, coached well. They're good every year. They're at the top of the conference every year.
Yeah.
It's not surprising. They're going to be good this year again.
Yeah.
Going into other conference teams, Westfield had a very, very impressive win over Kokomo, who lost to Ben Davis last year in the championship. 62-57, led by senior point guard Trey Buchanan with 17 points. Trey's been a 3-year starter. He's been crazy good for him. He's posted numbers every single year, and it's not going to change this year. He's their go-to guy as he was last year. He's going to score points every game. He can shoot the long ball well. He's one of the best shooters in the state. Another really underrated piece for this Westfield team is junior guard Will Harvey. The Harvey and Buchanan combo, they put up 35 points in their first game this year, and they're going to be a problem in the backcourt.
Multi-sport athlete, too.
Yeah.
Heck of a golfer.
Yeah, exactly.
Purdue commit for golf. So.
This kid can ball for sure.
Yeah.
Kokomo led by 5-star center Kansas commit Flory Badunga. Flory went for 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists in there as well.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best players, if not the best player in the entire state this year.
Freak athlete.
He's a freak athlete. He
Kansas
played soccer
commit.
this year for Kokomo.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that, 7-footer, running down, up and down.
Agile. He can jump around the
yeah.
gym.
I
I mean,
mean-
to hear is Kansas commit for basketball.
Exactly.
Definitely,
There's
yeah.
2 dudes in this state that I think are unstoppable in the paint. One being Keenan Gardner and the other being Flory Badunga.
There you
It's
go.
basically impossible. If he gets it on the block, it's a pound dunk.
Number one
Pound.
center in the
It's
nation.
impossible to stop. I mean,
Yeah.
you
He's
can
the best,
try, but
best center in his class.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Across the nation, which is crazy to think. But
Looking over at Zionsville, they got a W over Carmel, 57-40. Zionsville knocked out Fishers in the sectional last year. But that was a good win, beating Carmel by 17. They were led by McGuire Mitchell. He had 29 points. He went 12 for 19. And, Carmel, they're not as dominant as we've seen in years past. They kind of got a younger team this year. And it could just be growing pains. See if they hit their stride later on in the season. You guys got anything else to add?
Zionsville's going to be a team for me that I really like this year. They got a lot of diversity throughout the team. McGuire Mitchell's a stud. I mean, he can shoot the ball. He can get to the bucket. He's lengthy. He can block shots. He's good defensively. He's going to be a player to watch around the state this year that I think he's really going to turn heads, and people are underrating him right now.
definitely.
For sure, and a big concern. A lot of people are wondering how is Fishers going to stack up against these teams without Jalen. You want to add on that, Sam?
Yeah, for sure. Jalen Harrelson, who's ESPN has him ranked at number 11 in the nation for his class, the class of 2025. They lost him to La Lumiere, a huge school across the nation located up north, Indiana. But I think his absence is really going to allow especially these freshmen, to shine this year and kind of spread the ball a little more. There's a lot of new faces. Poto, want to lead us into that?
Yeah, so we've got some new faces here, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. Jason Gardner Jr. and Cooper Zachary.
Yeah.
They're just going to be huge to watch out for. I mean, it's going to be fun, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Something I want to highlight about Jason Gardner Jr., his dad, Jason Gardner also, actually won 1999 Indiana Mr. Basketball. And he is currently on the Arizona staff basketball, who's number 2 ranked, who's going to be facing Purdue here in Indianapolis coming up. So we're going to have a little homecoming there for him.
I mean, it runs in the family.
Yeah.
The kid's a stud. He's going to be good for 3 more years after this year. I mean, other than that, we're going to lead into some juniors. Justin Kirby, guard, and then 2 forwards, Logan Sigler and Nathan Baker. These 3 have bits and pieces of varsity experience last year, but that should help them leading into this year. I think they can really shine. Kirby's a really lengthy, quick to the bucket, can finish at the bucket, but he can also step out and hit a 3 if you need him to. So 3 important pieces in this team this year.
I like
sure.
Baker a lot. He's a tall, he's a power forward. He can stretch the floor though.
Yeah.
Add some
It's kind of that stretch 4. I mean,
Yeah.
you put a too slow of a guy on him, he can blow by him, get to the bucket, but you put a smaller guy on. I mean, if you put a smaller guy on him, he's going to shoot over him.
he's a hard matchup for teams, so it's going to be interesting to see him develop over the year. Really.
For sure.
Taking us through some notable games around the state. HSCU's 1-1 against Avon, who's 0-1. 2 struggling teams to hit their stride so far in the season. Somebody's got to win it, so
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be watching to see who wins that. And then you got Zionsville, who's 1-0. That win coming against Carmel, like we said earlier, and Westfield, who is 2-0, who defeated Kokomo. I'm really interested in that game. That's going to be a really
It's
good
going to be a
game.
really, really
Yeah.
fun game to watch.
Both teams
tonight
have
for
studs
sure.
all over the court.
A lot of questions.
Really interested to see how that one plays out.
And now just kind of zooming out, let's look at some of the best players in Indiana this year.
Yeah. We highlighted him earlier. Center Flory Badunga from Kokomo. He's a 6'9", 5-star, number 1 center in the nation for his class. Like we said, committed to Kansas. I don't think the Tigers play Kokomo this year,
They do not.
but you're going to be hearing a lot of his name. Oh, they do. I'm getting word from one of the managers, Evan, that they do actually play him.
I bet.
Wow.
That's news to me.
that.
I'm looking forward to that. actually. Wow, we're going to get to see. Okay, it's at Southport. I'll be at that game then
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I really want to see this guy
I'm
play.
gonna watch a Kansas commit play. I definitely will.
Yeah.
6'9", 5-star. You'll have me there.
Oh yeah.
Leading into the next guy, we're going to talk about Jack Bencher. He's a shooting guard committed to Purdue, Brownstown Central. Like Nathan Baker, we talked about him earlier. He can stretch the floor. He can shoot the ball. He can get to the bucket. He's good defensively. He really does it all. I'm excited to see what this kid can do at Purdue, but he's going to dominate around the state this year.
Yeah, you can expect a fundamentally sound player going to
Yeah,
Purdue.
for sure.
He's going to fit in well there down at Mackey. But next is Trent Sisley. He is a junior, 6'7" power forward. He's not currently committed anywhere, but he's getting a lot of looks from Big Ten schools,
Yeah, this kid's a
IU,
stud.
Purdue, Iowa. I'd expect him to commit here coming up
Pretty soon
next
here,
coming
yeah.
months maybe, but he's just a really solid player.
He's fun to watch,
He
for
can
sure.
shoot it. He's freak athlete.
He's going to make an impact. He's probably going to make a really big impact in the Big Ten if you were to ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
Xavier Robinson is our last guy we're going to touch on here, 2025 guard. He's got notable offers from Illinois, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Xavier, and many more. I mean,
Good schools.
he's a Power 5. He's a Power 5 player.
Yeah.
He's dominating at our level. He's going to dominate at the next level. He's really fun to watch.
For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a fun segment here. We got an interview with Coach Weiniger. A few questions for him. Sam, you want to kick us off?
I sure do. Coach, what is your and the team's mindset heading into this game, being ranked number 1 in the state?
I don't think the ranking changes a lot for how we're trying to prepare. You know, it's our first home game, our first conference game. You only get 7 of them, so opportunity to win the conference. We won it back-to-back years. Our first 2 years here, didn't win it last year, so that's our goal is to start by getting the first win toward that. So what we're ranked or not doesn't really impact how we do things. But I think it is good recognition for our program and what we've been able to build to get the first number 1 ranking in school history. I think it's a testament to not only our current players, but the guys who've played for us the last 3 years and, where our basketball program is seen from the rest of the state now.
Yeah,
Sure.
And kind of adding on to that, some of the newer players here, we got the freshman Cooper Zachary and Jason Gardner Jr. Can you just kind of hone in on what they've added to the team and what we can expect from them tonight?
Yeah, in my opinion, they're the 2 best freshmen in the state, and they're both on our team, so it's pretty good for us. But just their intensity, both defensively and offensively. Defensively, they're both very good on the ball, and then offensively, just what they provide with their ability to handle the basketball, make the right play. They're both exceptional passers and unselfish, willing to make the right play. So, it's they made a huge difference to our program and really moved the needle just with their energy, their effort, defensive pressure, their ball handling. Cooper's been able to step up and hit a lot of shots. Jason won last game, and Jason's ability to finish at the rim is elite. One of the best finishers I've seen. So both those guys bring unique talents, and together, moving forward now and in the future, have a chance to be really special together.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Coach, fan interest in Fishers basketball has been growing more and more every year. What impact do the fans have on the game?
Yeah, it was really, really important as we came here, to try to grow that. I was first got the job. That was one of the things we talked about, like how are we going to increase the attendance, increase fans, and I think we've been pretty successful at home the last 3 years, and I think the fans and the Tiger Kids had a huge part of that. Our players really feed off of it. Unfortunately, our first 3 games were on the road, so we're really excited to play at home, get back here, and just the way our players feed off the fans and the energy. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, Keenan Gardner has taken a huge leap in terms of carrying the offensive load this year. How big of an impact has he made to this team this year?
Yeah, Keenan, he's not only offensively, but just he's our leader. He's a vocal leader. He's a hard worker. He moved in here from out of the country last September. His dad gets moved here, works for the government, ends up getting moved here, walks in, late September. So for him to do what he's done in basically a year's time is extremely impressive and a testament to his character. I mean, he busts his butt every day. He's really developed his game offensively. We put a premium on skill work in our practices and in the off season, and guys who really buy into it are going to get better, and he's really bought into that. And I think we're just kind of seeing the fruits of all that work. Like he's our leader, both with his actions and with his words. And offensively this year, so far through 3 games, nobody can stop him. So hopefully that
That's good to hear.
changes. Yeah.
And lastly, can you take us through what we can expect from Noblesville, maybe some notable players, or if their defense or offense is especially good?
Yeah, they're a tough team. Obviously they won our sectional last year, so defending Sectional 8 champs. And they have 3 of their starters back. They did graduate 2 of their seniors who started, 2 are key pieces, but they're 2 of their leading scorers, and Aaron Fine and Hunter Walston are back, and they're both really good players. They're really well coached. They're going to move the ball and get really good shots, and defensively they're physical. They're going to be tough. They're going to rebound. So we have to match their physicality, and they do a nice job of getting good shots on every possession. So we got to make sure we do the same thing and not have possessions that end in turnovers or bad shots, because on the other end they're going to make you pay. So it's going to be a great game. I think two teams that definitely have a chance in our conference and our sectional. So excited to have it here at Fishers.
For sure. Coach Weiniger, appreciate you coming on, and best of luck tonight.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Coach.
And now I think everybody's favorite segment, gentlemen, and one that we've kind of proven ourselves in the past.
Yes.
You want to touch on some X factors? Sam, start us off here.
My X factor for tonight is freshman guard Cooper Zachary. He's thrown right into the action as a freshman. That kind of shows you how much trust Coach Weiniger has in him, throwing a freshman into the starting lineup.
Yes.
He's shown he can really shoot the three ball. I think he went 3 for 4 in the win over Ben Davis. All of his points coming from three. He's averaging 12.3 points per game this year with 2.3 assists on 65% field goal percentage, which is really impressive for a guard. Getting a lot of shots up, being able to make shots at that clip is really impressive. But ultimately, his impact goes beyond the stat sheet. He's a really good cutter. I've seen a lot of film from Fishers this year. He's able to work off the ball, which is just a really effective thing to space the floor for basketball. And then he's able to affect the game with his decision-making, his high IQ, which is a really good thing to see for Fishers this year.
And my X factor, I've got John Anthony Hall. This guy's an athlete. Let's see. Last year's stats, he had 6.8 PPG, 70 field goals made, and 46% field goal percentage. Wow. He scored 14 in the win over LaPorte, and recorded a double-double in the win over the number 1 seed, Ben Davis. He's shown his ability to facilitate this year, averaging a team high of 2.7 APG. And just each year, his assists have gone up, and he's just maturing as a player, and someone to definitely watch out for tonight and in future games. John Anthony Hall, just a crazy athlete, and I'm excited to watch him.
Yeah, I'm impressed by those assist numbers because, it's gone up. I think last year he averaged maybe 1 assist per game, and seeing him facilitate is really going to help this offense.
Especially with a team that moves the ball a lot. Cooper Zachary is going to average about 3 assists per game here. It's impressive to see John Anthony get his while other guys are getting theirs as well.
Exactly what we said earlier with Jalen leaving. There's a lot of mouths to feed now, so there's going to be way more assists going up for everybody.
There you go.
My X factor tonight's going to be Keenan Gardner. He's been dominant this year. Last year, not that it was a down year for him. We've only seen him for 2 years. He put up 8 points per game, 6.1 rebounds per game, and then 55% shooting from the field. That is with Jalen Harrelson, who scored majority of the points on this team. So putting him in an offense where he's going to dominate. So far this year, he has put up 18.3 points per game while averaging 7.5 rebounds per game. Like I said earlier, there's only 2 dudes in the state that I think are physically unstoppable in the paint, and it's Keenan and Flory. This kid's going to dominate all year. He's going to dominate the Noblesville Millers tonight, especially.
Yes, he is.
I don't really know who they have that can guard him, but
That's a good pick.
exactly.
My X factor for tonight, I'm going with senior Tatum Metzger, Huntington commit. He's referred to as one of the best three-point shooters on the Tigers. Notable moment from this year is when he hit a big transition 3 against number 1 Ben Davis, which gave Fishers a lot of good momentum to finish out that game.
Yeah.
Last year he was averaging 10 points per game. He had 84 field goals made and was shooting about 45% from the field, plus a 45% three-point percentage. You give him the ball outside the arc, he's going to make some shots. He's going to make some plays.
A lot of shooters on this Fishers team, which I really like.
Yeah.
Tatum kind of highlighting them all. He showed it last year, but
Which, when you can get it into Keenan, you can score in the paint, but then you can also facilitate it outside of the paint as well. It's almost impossible to guard. You got to choose.
yeah, I'd expect
Pick
a
your
lot of
poison.
traps.
You want,
from Keenan.
exactly. You
So-
got to pick your poison, whether you want them getting 2 points or 3 points every possession. And yeah.
And gentlemen, before we get into some game pits around the conference, do you think that this game being a home game is going to add anything to the players' ability and maybe give them a little boost of motivation out here?
I
Yeah.
think for sure, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
We've seen the
home court
Tiger
advantage.
Cage. The Tiger Cage has shown out over the years, Having the home court, having the crowd behind you really helps. It can get in the Noblesville's heads, really. I love having a home court advantage for this
Yeah,
Tigers
the
team.
student section definitely plays a part here. They're definitely going to get in the head of the other team.
Jersey theme, I'd expect to see a lot of kids out here tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
For
yeah.
sure. First home game of the year.
That's right. All right, let's kick
Picks?
it off with some picks here. Kicking it off, we've got HSC versus Avon. We'll start us off there, Sam.
Yeah, this is not, like Ryan said earlier, this is not the biggest matchup that, I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but I'm probably going to take the Royals on this one. Avon just hasn't really shown me much over the years. I'm not really familiar with their team much this year, which kind of says something in its own. But I'm going to take the Royals. Sad to see, but someone has to win the game.
Yeah, I'm going to completely disagree with you. I'm going to take Avon. I think that HSC just their guys just together don't really make a team to me. It's just
I don't know why I picked HSC. I'm gonna switch that.
Yeah,
actually.
good call.
Give me the Orioles.
Yeah, their team is just it's hard to watch, to be honest. The blue color makes me a little bit nauseous, but other than that, Ethan?
I'm a little bit up in the air here. Fly birds tonight, I guess. We're gonna roll Avon.
Yes.
Both teams kind of inexperienced. Donovan's really like the key piece for HSC, like we touched on earlier. I think Donovan will have a good game for them tonight, but I don't think it's going to be enough to overtake Avon. I'm going to roll Avon here.
And like we kind of touched on, having one player just kind of limits the team's ability.
It's tough.
And it's going to be interesting to see, but I mean, one team carrying isn't really going to make a big.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough to score points.
Like you guys said,
Finish it out.
Somebody's got to win. I'm going with the Birds. I think
Nice.
take it. Like we said, I think HSC's early struggles are going to continue.
And next we got Brownsburg versus Franklin Central.
I'm going to take Brownsburg in this one. You know, Franklin Central, we saw them lose to Noblesville. Was that it earlier?
That was Franklin Community.
Oh, Community. Central, I haven't seen much about them this year. But Brownsburg, you know, they're always a pretty decent offensive team. They've returned some starters from last year, I know, so I'm going to take the Bulldogs in this one.
Yeah, I think a key thing with Brownsburg is their whole kind of sports program is really good. So I'm going to go Brownsburg here. I like them over Franklin Central, and I think we're going to see the Bulldogs pull it a win.
I'm also going to go Brownsburg. They lost let's be honest, they lost their best player, Cannon Catchings, 5-star Purdue commit. He's playing for Overtime Elite this year. But that does kind of transfer the offense into Spencer Porath's hands, and I think he's going to be able to carry the load pretty well. I'm going to roll Brownsburg tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Brownsburg's football season ended in the first round of sectional against Ben Davis. I think their basketball team, you know, like Poto said, it's just a good program. All their sports are just good, so I'm going to take them over Franklin Central.
And, of course, the big one, we got
one more.
Oh, my fault. Yeah. We got a big one. Here we've got Zionsville at Westfield.
This is a huge rivalry matchup.
Yeah.
You know, two solid teams. They've proved it every year in and out in this conference. You know, this is a tough one, but I'm probably going to take Westfield. Like Ethan said, Trey Buchanan, Will Harvey, really solid 1-2 punch in the guard position. But Westfield, they're going to be at home, so I'm taking the Shamrocks.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the Shamrocks here. I like Westfield as a team, and they've proven their offense in the past, and so I'm going to go with Westfield.
This is probably my favorite game to watch all around the state tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be really high scoring. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. I think it's going to be probably a 5-point deficit either way, coming down to fouls there at the end, but it's going to be a close game. I'm going to have to roll Westfield. Their backcourt, the experience with Trey Buchanan, I think, overtakes the little bit of inexperience that Zionsville has with their younger team, and I think he's just going to dominate tonight.
Yeah, like Ethan said, it's going to be close. It's a rivalry. I think that Zionsville has the capabilities to neutralize Buchanan and Harvey. Just a matter of fact, will they do it? And I think they will. I'm taking Zionsville.
Thank you.
Totally see
it.
Totally see it. I mean, that game's either way. It's going to be a toss-up.
Yeah.
And like I was hinting at, the big game tonight, we've got Fishers #1 versus Noblesville #8. It's going to be a fun one. Sam?
You know, I think it's a huge advantage for Fishers in this one. #1 ranked, home court advantage. They're coming up a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence, you know, being ranked #1. Not that it's so early in the season. It really has no significance, but I think it gives these players a lot of confidence. So I'm going to go with the Fishers Tigers tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to join you. I like the Fishers Tigers tonight, and of course, we touched on it a little bit before, but it being a home game, I think it's going to add a fun aspect for the Tigers. They kind of get to see their own fans looking up at them, or looking down at them, I guess, on the court. And yeah, I'm going with the Tigers.
It's going to be a fun game for sure. I do think people think this game's going to be closer than it really is. Noblesville being ranked #8, I think the difference there between 1 and 8, like the number-wise, they are top 10, but Fishers is just dominant right now.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm rolling with the Tigers.
Bringing it over for basketball season. Let's go.
You love to see it.
Haven't seen this one in a while. It's really good to have you back, Tiger.
All right, right, closing us out here. I can't disagree. I'm going with the Tigers. I just think Noblesville can't keep up. I mean, we talked about it earlier. You could feed Keenan in the paint. If you neutralize him, you got Taden on the outside, and then you add those freshmen into Cooper and Jason. It's hard. It's
hard to
stop.
beat.
It's virtually impossible to stop right there. I mean,
It's going to take a really nice
score at all
defense.
levels, yeah.
I think-
Fisher's got something to prove too. Sorry, Sam.
No, you're good.
Yeah, just take the conference back. They got
right.
something to prove this year.
That's right.
They don't need Jalen to score 40 a game to win. Just big statement game here.
Yep, it's going to be a really fun one tonight.
I'm looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching Fisher's Game Day. It's been Ethan Poto.
Sam Keithley.
Ethan Gardner.
Ryan Mitchell.